Man City's dream for success took over £1 billion to become reality. But for every Haaland and Aguero, there are costly mistakes along the way. Over 100 million in mistakes. No, Jack Grealish, not you. Let's take a look at some of Man City's costliest mistakes. Jack Grealish may breathe a huge sigh of relief not to make this list, but here are some other City signings that aren't so lucky. Iliakim Mangala. The French defender was brought in by Manuel Pellegrini back in 2014. He was considered a ready-made replacement for departing Julian Lescott, and City shelled out, wait for it, a whopping £42 million to bring in the defender from Porto. His first 2 seasons at the Etihad saw the club drift from title contention, and Mangala was often criticized for his poor posturing and instincts. Despite a productive loan spell at Valencia, it took new boss Pep just 15 games to realize he wasn't up to the job. He was shipped out again before suffering a serious injury while at Everton. Benjamin Mendy. When Man City splashed out a world record £52 million for Mendy in 2017, the club were confident they had the world's best left back. However, almost 6 years later, and that deal couldn't look worse if it tried. Nobody batted an eyelid at the time, with Mendy highly regarded in world football after his displays for Monaco. But since then, Mendy has suffered from serious injury and has played just 50 games for the club. He was suspended by City in August, having been charged with multiple counts of assault and a return to the Etihad looks impossible, even if he does continue his career, making his time in Manchester worth over £1 million per appearance. Not exactly good business. Jack Rodwell. When City poached a 21-year-old Rodwell from nearby Everton, the box-to-box midfielder was considered the next big thing in England. But the problem was, Man City already had a pretty handy midfield. You ever heard of Yaya Toure, David Silva, Samir Nasri, or Fernandinho? Turns out they weren't too bad and could play a bit, meaning that opportunities for the unproven youngster would be hard to come by amongst so much star power. In the end, Rodwell was sold to Sunderland after just 2 seasons and 15 appearances, where he continued to slide through the leagues. He now plays in Australia and is just another example of how stockpiling young talent can do more harm than good. Jerome Boateng. The German defender had a good career before joining City and a great career after leaving City, but his short spell in the sky blue side of Manchester was anything but successful. Considered one of the best young defenders in the world, City forked out over £10 million to get him through the door from Hamburg. But after injuring his knee on a drinks trolley on a flight from international duty, seriously, his career in Manchester got off to a rocky start. He would play just 16 games for the club before returning back home to play for Bayern Munich. The rest, as they say, is history. Joe. The Brazilian star came with a big reputation as well as a big price tag. The City boss in 2008 was Mark Hughes, and he paid £19 million for the striker. But a big reputation and a big fee doesn't guarantee big results. Joe was a huge disappointment and scored just 1 goal in 9 league games before being shipped on loan to Everton. When he returned to City for a second chance, the damage had already been done. He eventually returned home to Brazil, having cost more than City legends Vincent Kompany and Pablo Zabaleta combined. Wilfried Bony. When Manchester City paid Swansea £25 million for Wilfried Bony in 2015, they thought they'd signed a superstar, but sadly, that wasn't the case. Bony isn't the first striker to succeed at a club before failing to make it at the next grade, but his 25 Premier League goals in 55 games for the Swans had City fans thinking they'd got a bargain. Afraid not, guys. Just 6 Premier League goals in 2 seasons at the Etihad saw Bony moved out as a gigantic and expensive flop. For those keeping count, that's over $4 million per goal. Ouch! So as this list shows, it takes more than a blank checkbook and a lot of zeros to make a signing successful. Mr. Grealish, we have our eye on you.